Crafty friends, it's Courtney Brickner, the CV behind the Crafty Brick. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new here. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I wanted to share how to do a rhinestone template in Leonardo Design Studio. So I made this shirt with the rhinestone M's. I'm going to be wearing it for my craft fair at my booth. And I wanted to have something that had branding on it, but I needed a little bling. You know, I always got to have a little bling. So I designed this in Leonardo Design Studio, cut it with Romeo, and made it. So I wanted to share the whole process with you. And I also wanted to share how I added a QR code to the back. I have to say I was a little bit nervous about this because I thought the weeding would be challenging, weeding a QR code, but it really wasn't. So I wanted to show you how I did that. Remember, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you don't miss anything crafty, because I'm here all the time sharing things that I'm learning along my crafty journey with you. So let's get into Leonardo Design Studio and I will show you how to do the rhinestone template. All right, first I'm going to go up here so that we can import the file that I'd like to use. So I'm just importing an SVG, going to click apply. Let's make it bigger. Actually, I want it to be 10 inches wide. And I am going to separate it. So I'm going to delete all of that. I don't need that part. And then I'm going to highlight the two M's and the middle line, group those back together so I can move them out of the way. And then I want to group those together. I highlight all of them, group them together, and just move them out of the way because I don't want that to be in bling. I'm going to use HTV for that part. So I just want the bling to be with the M's. So let's work with those. We're going to come down here to our build contour section and we're going to click the rhinestones. So I've got rhinestones. Actually looks pretty good. Let me see what it would look like if I do the grid fill. I like that. Let's see what the smart fill is. Don't like the smart fill. So it's either the hex fill or the grid fill. Actually, no, I want the grid fill. Oh my goodness, decisions. Okay, now I click accept. And I'm going to see, let me click the magnifying glass down here, zoom in just so it's a little bit bigger. Let's close both of these over on the side. After you do the template, it imports back onto your canvas with the background as well as the rhinestones. The rhinestones are all grouped together and the background is separate. I kind of like having the background there so that I can use it as a guide. So I'll keep that there. But what I want is to highlight, let me go to my layers. So the rhinestones, those are highlighted now. Okay, there. I ungrouped those. So now they're all individual. So I'm going to copy and paste. I kind of just want this to be all the way down that line there. Okay, that one looks good. So now I'm just going to all the places that I don't exactly like the way the rhinestones filled in and just editing those small spots. So if it needs to be moved, I just shift the stones, like maybe they're a little bit crooked. But if it needs more stones, then I'm just copying and pasting extra stones to fill that area in. Then I moved up the mirrored mindset words back just to see how it looked and if there were rhinestones touching any of the words, and deleted those. As I was working, then I started to realize I didn't like the way the one side of the M only had one line. I want them to be mirrored images, but I felt like that one side was a little bit too thin. So I just added an extra row of rhinestones, made sure they were all lined up, and just filling in some of the parts. I just like the way they look better. So I think that this rhinestone template looked pretty good to start out, but once I started getting into it, I just wanted to make a few changes, and I think that that is the whole thing with doing the rhinestone templates. It does the automatic fill for you when you create it, but then you just might need to make some adjustments to some of the rhinestones, and then you just, release the path and then just make any movements that you want, and then we're going to group them all together. Stones, I go back over to the layers panel and I just scroll to the bottom to make sure I'm getting every single one. So click the bottom one, and then I click shift and click the top one, and then I'm going to come back over to the group and group them all together. And now all the stones are one piece, and we're going to send it to cut. After we click send design to cut, then we're going to click send here on that next one, and then it's got two different mats that we're going to use. So we're going to use the flock for our M and M rhinestone part, and then we're going to use some Caesar Twinkle for the mirrored mindset words. I'm doing a test cut with the strip flock, so I'm just going to put it inside under the rollers, make sure the rollers are touching all of the spots of the strip flock, and then I want to do a test cut. I ended up doing 3 different test cuts. The pressure just wasn't right to start, and I bumped it up. I ended up with speed of 10 and pressure at 15. Then it's time to take out our strip flock, cut it, and not so great. That was not a great cut, but all is not lost. I'm going to go ahead and just use my lint roller and take the dots away from the strip flock. I don't know why it didn't cut all the way through. I thought I had the setting right. Obviously, I should have had a higher pressure so that I could have had the pull for the dots to come all the way off right from the beginning, but the lint roller works. For my rhinestone templates, I typically just put them on a piece of cardstock, and then I can just reuse them over and over. So I'm just pressing it on the cardstock. The rhinestones go in perfectly on this, and it works out for me. Then I moved on to cutting the easy weed piece. Then it's time to brush all the rhinestones into the template. I'm using Baby's Booty Light Cyan, and then I just pour some of the rhinestones onto the template and start brushing them around in a circular motion to fill in all of the holes. I like to stick it onto a towel or my pants real quick just so I can take off a little bit of the tackiness so that it doesn't pull the rhinestones away or pull them up from the template. And then I place the mask right on top of the template, and I get a squeegee and press it down to make sure all the stones are attached to the mask. Then I peel up the mask so I can get the rhinestones away from the template, and they're on the mask and ready to be pressed. I got my press set for 300 degrees for 15 seconds. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my t-shirt in, and I'm going to do a pre-press, and then I will press on the rhinestones. There were a couple rhinestones that were out of place, so I just used my rhinestone pen to move them back onto the right position. And then I did the press. This is where I made a mistake. I should have pressed on my easy weed first before I pressed on the rhinestones. One of the rhinestones didn't press all the way, so I just put that one back on and pressed again. And then I put on my easy weed, but because the rhinestones were raised, the easy weed wasn't getting the heat that it should. So it wasn't like pressing all the way on. So I had to do multiple presses with that, and then actually ended up using my mini press to get it to really stick into place. So if you're doing a layer design, I suggest you do the easy weed layer first and then put the rhinestones on after you've got the easy weed already pressed on. This worked, but it just could have been easier. Next up, I'm working on cutting the QR code, and I made sure that my pressure was 100% good because I wanted to not have any issues with weeding this. I was kind of nervous about doing this QR code because I wasn't sure how difficult the weeding was going to be. And I knew that if I weeded the wrong spot, then the QR code wouldn't work at all. So I kept my computer open just in case so that I could see which spots really needed to be weeded out and which ones needed to stay in there because I knew that those were really important. To my surprise, it actually weeded really easily. I still referenced my computer just to make sure I was not pulling out the inside part that needed to stay on or not leaving the outside part that needed to be pulled off, just to make sure. But it really weeded very easily. So I think that this is a pretty good project and a simple way to add a little marketing that you can wear. People can scan right on your shirt. So I definitely am for this and I will be doing it again. After it was all weeded, I decided to just lay it on my shirt so that I could scan it and see did it actually work before I pressed it on. So I just wanted to do a little trial run. So got it into place on my shirt and then scanned the QR code with my phone and it works. My digital business card pulls up and all of my information is all in one place. My website, mirrored mindset purchase, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everything all in one. So this is gonna be good. Then I pressed it onto my shirt and peeled off the transfer paper, and I love how this looks. I liked it so much, I decided instead of just having the one sparkle, I made another one that was all black so I can wear them for both days. I think I'm even going to make a couple sweatshirts just in case it's chilly out. So that's it, guys. That's how you do this rhinestone template in Leonardo Design Studio and make your own QR codes. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.